Hey you, so on this video, is silver better than gold? It's going to be a follow-up to the video I done a couple videos back. Now, is gold better than silver? So it's just going to be the flip side to the coin, basically, going over if silver's better than gold. On this one, I'm going to give I'd give 4 or 5 positive points as to, why somebody could believe silver is better than gold, or, just the reasons why I own so much silver, and then give a few on why, negative points maybe, and overall give my own thoughts and opinions as to whether I believe silver is better than gold. But before I get into this, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe, and also let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments as to what you believe and why. Please do, because I know, silver stackers can be very emo, and I just want to hear whether you agree, disagree, or have a total different opinion in the comments as to whether you believe silver is better than gold. So I'm going to be jumping straight into this and giving one of the first points, or one of the first reasons. Got a big spread of silver here, obviously with a small amount of gold, given the example there. I'm going to say one of the points that had me purchasing silver, so all the plus points you could basically look at as to why I own silver. I've had a few people in any videos that I've done that haven't been super pro silver, screaming silver, silver, preaching to the choir, just going off and running away with himself. I'm pretty sure I own more silver than them, so not to forget that I do own silver, but I hopefully at the end remember to put in as to why I do own it. But first point in silver's favor as to is silver better than gold, I would say in silver's positive, or in silver's favor, I would most definitely say that silver is the underdog. So when you're looking at the metals, if we're going to compare it against gold, silver's the underdog. Whenever you view underdog, take it how you want it. If you're looking at the latest Rocky movie or anything in general, the underdog is always compared to one that has the potential to topple the one that's leading. Can it be? Is it to be? Who knows? But regardless, I would most definitely give silver the title of underdog. So silver is the underdog when it's compared against gold. Whether it has the power or potential to topple gold, who knows? But plus point number one in silver's favor, I'm going to say, is that silver is the underdog. So, whether you're an underdog picker, whether you'd rather stick with the current champ, not play it too risky and go with the new kid on the block, who knows? It's, I would say, currently in modern day, so give or take within the past 20 odd years, silver's easily been the underdog in comparison to gold. Closely related, but in terms of price, there's a big separation right there. So silver is the underdog, maybe with heaps of potential, but who knows? Let me know in the comments on all the potentials that you believe silver has over gold. So plus point for silver number 2, I'm going to say, is that silver is an industrial metal. Now, when I done the gold video, that was also a plus and a negative. Now, it's all depending on who you ask here, because it's one of the mega pushes for silver in that it's an industrial metal. It has so many uses. You see, silver has many badges, many tricks up its sleeve. So that, once again, depending on who you ask, this can be a good or a bad thing, because it takes it more away from being associated with being money and a storage of wealth to being more of an industrial metal. But many believe that because it has so many hats, it should give it more purpose, and i.e. more value. Gold supposedly has one purpose, very small industrial needs, but jewelry or hoarded, whereas silver's needed in medical, in automation, I don't know, wherever you want to speak, how far it's going, solar power, green energy. Silver's playing a larger and larger role in its industrial uses, and it's only getting larger. But currently, as I pointed out in my videos, and I'm not afraid to, with all of the badges that it hasn't affected its price, and we'll get onto it being rigged and the likes of. But as its resume grows and grows and grows, it being an industrial metal, we still get what we get with a price. Now, it can be because it's such an industrial metal and so heavily needed and a key component in many things, that the price has to be suppressed. But I can't see that being the case with many things, even when you're talking food, whether it's I don't know, what's one of vanilla pods or one of those key expensive ingredients. The fact that it's needed and it's rare in other fields has the price go up. But it's, you know, a little weird that silver, key component commodity here, is so rare supposedly and in so many growing fields, but the price is either suppressed, it doesn't seem to be appreciating, it doesn't seem to be working in silver's favor, is what I'm tongue-twistingly getting to. So, but still, nevertheless, one of the reasons why I got into to silver, and one of the main positives to silver, is that it's an industrial metal. Following off of the back of that would be, it is in limited supply. But once again, is it really in limited supply? I'm going to put out there. This is one that, and a lot of the things since I've been picking up silver, even a lot of my older videos, you can hear that the narrative's changed. Is one I once upon a time believed in, but looking into a little, regardless of how we was looking at it being a byproduct, I don't believe is the case here, and that silver is in limited supply. I would put a question mark / 50-50 to that. And it all depends on what you take at face value. So on the positive side, I'll get that out first, in that, you know, silver's in limited supply. This is why, you know, it has the future potential. As supplies get more and more, or dwindle more and more away, then we'll see a shoot up in price. But as I just mentioned, it all depends on what you take at face value and what you choose to believe in. I am one of those silver tinfoil hat type of individuals, whereas I don't believe in a lot of things that are put out there face value, and own personal thoughts and opinions here. For instance, you could take current mobile phone tech and batteries, for instance. We're going leaps and bounds when we're talking screens and processors and even storage and RAM and the likes of, but battery, what a coincidence. If you ask somebody what they wanted more, put at the top of their list, I doubt it's going to be a higher screen resolution. I personally want a mobile phone that can go for a month plus. I personally think it's possible, but it's not being done because it's being suppressed, because it suits the cabal that are in charge of that. You know, the more the battery, you have those certain key components, whereas if you tag them and drag them back and hold them back, you can push more product out ultimately in the long run. So that's the same mindset I believe. I don't believe silver is either one at a limited supply, or I think there is a alternative for it, but it's just they're dragging their feet, drawing it out to the last moment. So once again, I'm just one of those tinfoil hat individuals that believe there's many things out there that are being suppressed because it suits the cabal's needs. You know, they gain in the long run, and they get to drip feed us, and ultimately it's just like the alternative fuel situation. I think now we're getting hybrids and power cell cars, you know, electric fueled cars, but I think we're leaps and bounds ahead of what's currently being presented. So that you're just going to get another drip feed in that industry also for the next 20 plus years of a hybrid that can barely do, I don't know, 200 plus miles, when I think you can have cars that could run fully automated on electricity right now. Personal thoughts and opinions, and of course very out there, so as we drift away from the video here, but nevertheless, it's one of those things where it's either something that plays highly on somebody's list and that it's very rare. So that's another plus side for silver, in that it is very rare. So ultimately that's going to go on to do work wonders for the overall price when the times comes. Now a next plus for silver over gold is going to be it's affordable. It's affordable for all classes. For everyone, come one, come all. I've had people contact me in the comments as recent, stating that, you know, they've got so much faith in it because it's all they can have. It's what the common man has. That doesn't mean, as I've mentioned before, that you cannot own other metals, but I understand you get a lot more bang for your buck. You can really feel and see your savings or your money when you're getting into this metal here, technically the second to gold, if you're not taking the other palladium metals, and you've got copper and steel underneath it, and it's also got that potential tagged onto it. But everybody from all classes can afford it, although technically you can afford all the metals also, you just get it in the smaller mass. This, for some bizarre reason, when you tag the same philosophy to gold, silver, they just see it, they work on an ounce and upwards. So, but affordable to all classes. So if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're lower class, if you're minimum wage, if you're high wage, you can get an ounce of silver a month minimum. So, you know, that is another plus point, that when it comes time to sell, if it comes time where you're buying at the real low now and we see silver's true potential price, then you're ultimately going to be laughing when that day comes, because you was buying it at fractions of the pound or dollar. So, you know, another plus in silver's collar. So next is going to be, I might wrap this one up from there, is that if you're going by current gold to silver ratio, silver is the better buy. It's just cheaper than gold. You know, going by that ratio there, the gold to silver ratio, I've done videos in the past, it's not something I, you know, clutch onto, but it's nothing like charts. You know, you're not really getting a forecast there. It's currently what the current gold to silver ratio is. So going by the gold to silver ratio, silver is the better buy. But once again, it all depends on what you think it's worth and what it's going to be worth in the future. Not to forget some points I'll be getting into in a moment. So going by the gold to silver ratio currently, what is the gold to silver ratio at the time I released this video? Let's just call it 80. You know, current gold silver ratio, 80 ounces of silver. If we have something like that in the background, it's going to get you 1 ounce of gold, just comparison here. So, you know, the gold silver ratio play I hear from a lot of people that stack silver is once it goes down to the magic number 30, many mention, not taking premiums into account, just working on just numbers here, then they'll convert into gold. I don't know many stackers that have mentioned that they're going to stay in silver. So that's an interesting fact. Let me know in the comments if you are one of those individuals that regardless what the ratio gets, you're going to stay in silver because you believe it's going to surpass gold. I most definitely don't believe that. But, you know, going by current gold to silver ratio, silver's the better play. So all of these factors are what got me into silver. What still keep me around in silver, but the gameplay has changed. We may see future videos updating on that. So I want to hear what your current, you know, positives are staying into silver are, but I will touch upon a couple of negative things on silver that I think need to be put out there. You know, it doesn't make me the best when it comes to this type of stuff, as people have been moaning lately, but I would say against silver. So those were the top 5 positives as to why I see silver can be better than gold. But against it, I will say this: silver currently is the metal of regret. And what do I mean by that? When I say the metal of regret, it's a metal whereas I've personally come across and seen more people get into the metal and regret doing so. Either one, they got into it early and, you know, it just didn't do what they thought it was going to do. I've mentioned these were the more of the lottery type of individuals that got into it, that believed the 50k an ounce tomorrow syndrome and jumped head, hands, toes, everything first and found out the hard way. And then you have those that have been popping up lately stating that they purchased silver on the last high. As we spoke about in the past, a lot of people run towards the good stuff. So when it was on the rise last time up to $50+, a lot of people are running towards it. As hard as it is to believe, it just is. You know, people could have thought then that we may have been seeing $500, $1,000. So getting in at $30, £28, $40, you know, $50 or just a little under $50, give or take £38 sterling at the time, was nothing. You just wanted to be in. For it to only tank back down to damn near $13, it's been current lows, and it's been down in the dumps for some, I don't know, 5-6+ years now. A lot of people have mentioned that the day it ever does get to around $30 is their base average, as there's still been, you know, dollar cost averaging over some times. Some people may need to go upwards of, you know, $35 to $40, anywhere down near £30 sterling. Then they're going to dump that metal immediately and convert it into gold or just jump out of metals altogether. You'll find a lot more regretters when it comes to metals in silver than any other metal that I've personally come across. I don't see many, if any, regretters in gold. Now, you can pop up and say, "Are you regret now?" But I haven't personally come across any. And, you know, I did coin them Incredible Hulk stackers at one point because there were so many angry silver stackers or ex-silver stackers or silver stackers that have gone into hiding because, you know, they just wasn't very happy with it. So that's something to take on board. I don't think I'll ever be there because I think I got in at a very fortunate spot price. I think if it goes lower into single digits, it's only positive things if you're jumping in then. You know, getting in on the low is always a great thing, no matter how you look at it. Next, I would say that works against it, or another negative would be that it's a rigged market. You know, everybody and anybody says that. And when the rigging stops, you know, that's when, you know, we can break free and the likes of. But you have some that go by charts and show a lot of charts forecasting what's going to happen in the silver market. But if you're taking into account that it's a rigged market, then a lot of the forecasting really amounts to nothing. And this is why I've always said, look, charts don't mean a lot to me. I think they do play a role, for my own personal opinions here, once again, to explain what went wrong or what happened or why we did get that sudden spike, because that's when I think they play their best role. Outside of that, I've said you know, you could write down a list of outcomes and, you know, flip a coin, as I daringly done there, and I think you'd get the same kind of results, especially for those that work on forecasting where silver's going to be and the likes of. You're always going to have those that, you know, worship, and those real hardcore die-hard fans of silver that go in, you know, silver balls deep. But it is what it is. Ultimately, I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions as to why you believe silver is better than gold. But to wrap it up and answer my own question, I don't believe silver is better than gold. I don't think it currently is, and as it stands, I don't think it ever will be. But I want to hear your thoughts and opinions as to why you believe it is and why you believe it will be. So, hate or love it, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Once again, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.